The month of April undoubtedly belongs to the Magpies, and as this little chap will tell you, they simply stood head and shoulders above the rest. And it's not hard to see why, when they can kick miraculous goals from the boundary line like this one from Graham Wright. But while the Magpies were on target, the Bears' Brad Hardy certainly wasn't. Perhaps Brad needs to see Grant Laurie's optometrist. The best sandwich of a player goes to Carlton's Steve Silvani and Tom Alvin on Craig Starcevich. The best sandwich of an umpire goes to these two young lads. But as always, the men in white soon get their own back. The Academy Awards obviously inspired the Swans' David Bolton to put on this award-winning performance. Best Supporting Actor was won by Carlton's David Glasgow. Now, could these two men be Hollywood talent scouts? By unanimous decision, the worst adaptation of Using Your Head, Geelong's Darren Morgan and Damien Burke. The Boot in Mouth Award goes to the Eagles' Michael O'Connell, courtesy of Brian Taylor. Taylor was soon in the action again, this time shirt-fronting teammate Peter Dacos. April also saw some amazing aerial work. This great grab from Essendon's Alan Izard. And some not-so-great aerial work. Carlton's Adrian Gleeson. The I Want to Be a Goal Umpire When I Grow Up award goes to this youngster at Carrara. The Cheapskates of the month, the St Kilda Cheer Squad for displaying this tatty thing. The Humanitarian Award to Justin Madden for stopping play and pointing out to his teammates an injured ladybug and not crushing it. Now Justin, you're not crushing it, are you? And while St Kilda's Alex Marcoux was being pushed into the fence, was Collingwood's James Manson discussing the most perplexing question of April? We start the month of May with a traditional pre-game coin toss, except that for some reason this little coin refuses to play by the rules. Once, twice, in fact 3 times it's tossed before it decides it's had its 2 bobs worth. The easiest missed for goal belongs to Dean Chiron, who from virtually point-blank range failed to keep the ball in play. Well, it wasn't that easy, but here Dean, how about trying this boot next time? The Everyone Else Saw It Coming But Me award goes to Gavin Krasiska, courtesy of Essendon's Tim Watson. The best imitation of a cheap Taiwanese suit? Looks good, feels good, rips good, says Greg Eppleton. Hey Shane, look what you've done to my new set of threads. And just who has got the bluest eyes in the competition? Simon Madden or Simon Clark? Well, to the simple Simons, perhaps, gentlemen, next time you could try these. The high flyer of the month, Hawthorn's Dermot Brereton. And the low flyer of the month, his teammate, Jason Dunstall. The most unfortunate tackle of the month was put on Melbourne's big Jim Steins, and boy, was it painful. And if at first you don't succeed, then try again. The new craze of the month, synchronised spectating. And the best display of sportsmanship goes to this umpire for giving Craig Bradley a helping hand. No Brownlow votes, but a helping hand. The worst display of judgment goes to Hawthorn's Jason Dunstall for marking this certain goal. Teammate Robert Di Domenico, who kicked the ball, wasn't impressed. Come on, man, why didn't you let it go? I like to kick goals too, you know. May also saw the introduction of the new controversial 3-goal umpire system and the plain-closed boundary umpire. The Consideration Award of the month goes to Collingwood's Brian Taylor for offering his opponent, Michael Martin, a soothing cool drink. The sneakiest goal of the month, undoubtedly, to Bomber comedian Simon Madden, who casually walks up to the goal line querying the angle and then, blame me down, pops it through. And does Simon look happy with himself? But without doubt, the goal of the month was kicked by North's Matthew Larkin. Around 1, 2, 3 Eagles, he spins onto his left foot and kicks a great goal to end a truly great month of football. Hawthorn has had some tough assignments over the past month, but none tougher than this. But don't worry, Cheer Squad, the boys really did appreciate the banner. The best attempt at KOing your teammate, St Kilda's Greg Burns, lays big Bob Jones to rest. The cheekiest goal of the month goes to Essendon's Gary Foulds, and not even a slip-sliding Cordy could stop it. The newest member of Actors Equity is Hawthorn big man Greg Deere. But as far as Roger Merritt was concerned, oh, Greg, you must be joking. Oh, well, it was worth a try. The mark of the month was taken by Footscray's Stephen Wallace. A couple more of these, and Wallace could find himself in a circus tent. The best infringement at a centre bounce, Stuart Lowe and the field umpire. The best interception of a short pass also went to the same umpire. The Boot in Mouth Award goes to Tiger Stephen James, courtesy of Warwick Kappa. The Watergate Award goes to the Carlton Cheer Squad. Well, they tried hard to cover up a rather glaring spelling mistake, but I'm still trying to work out if they did actually make amends the following week. The Shirt Front of the Month award undoubtedly went to Eagles player Jeff Miles on Fitzroy's Richard Osborne. The long goal of the month to St Kilda wizard Nicky Winmar. This one sent St Kilda fans wild. But this incident didn't impress the Collingwood army, although Mick McGuane escaped with what could be termed the closest shave of the month. And the Don't Let Anything Get In Your Way award goes to Melbourne's Gary Lyon. The happiest man in June, Richmond's Peter Wilson, after his team's upset win over reigning champions Carlton. Even Tiger Chief Neville Crowe couldn't contain his delight as he led the team into a victory chant. It was, after all, the club's best win of the year. Speaking of wins, what can you say about this little group? Did I say little group? Somehow I don't think Dale Waitman was too impressed. And what about you, sir? Anything to show us? We begin our plays of the month with a little pre-game banter between Rod Carter and Jamie Morrissey. Hey Jamie, come on, all I want to do is shake your hand. There you go, now let's get on with it. The most entertaining goal umpire of the month was this gentleman, who under enormous pressure still managed to perform a soft shoe shuffle. The best imitation of a gridiron quarterback, Geelong's Darren Flanagan, who rockets the ball 50 metres back to Mark Boss. The No Mean Feet award goes to St Kilda's Tony Evans. Now, who said Moorabbin was muddy? And these supporters will testify it's hard to beat a day out at the football. Damien Drum celebrated this goal in a most extraordinary way by disappearing into the crowd. Here, let's give you a hand, Damien. There you go. The Let's Kiss and Make Up award goes to Dermot Brereton and Bill Duckworth. Umpire Ross Castle soon found out that the MCG is where the big boys play when he was upended. But help was soon on the way after mouth-to-mouth from Brian Wilson. No Brownlow votes, Brian, but still a very nice gesture. The Persistence Award goes to Warwick Kappa, who tries once to score, twice, no luck, 3 times, still no luck, and finally kicks the post. Was that in disgust? July also saw Gary Ablett finally introduce himself to teammate Mark Bairstow. Collingwood's Brian Taylor also had an untidy meeting with teammate Doug Barwick. They say the man in white is always right. Not on this occasion, according to Hawthorn's Robert Di Domenico. To the goal of the month, Michael Turner and Mark Zanotti battle it out in the race for the ball, pushing and shoving each other, but Turner shows his class. He out-battles Zanotti and puts through an inspirational goal for the Cats. The Leyland Brothers Award goes to Hawthorn. Now, can someone please show us the right way to go? The Do You See What I See award goes to Richmond's Peter Wilson, with just a little bit of help from Carlton's Justin Madden. Now, that's what I call cheeky. The Save of the Month goes to Carlton's Steve Silvani, whose great diving smother stops a certain goal. And while Silvani was great on the ground, he was brilliant in the air. This mark over Craig Starcevich was easily the mark of July. And finally, for the month of July, this ecstatic Swans fan obviously wanted to make the plays of the month. So do you, sir? Please, take a bow. August began with a heavyweight contest of extraordinary proportions. Now look, man, this is my patch. Meanwhile, the best imitation of Hulk Hogan, Wayne Henwood, body slams Frank Donnell. August wasn't a good month for Collingwood's Tony Elshaw. Yes, we know you insisted that you did the right thing, but come on, Tony, you should know the rules. After all, you do work at VFL House. Perhaps there's a spare book of rules just lying around. And could this be a rule of the future? Players writing their own reports? A tie for the fresh air shot of the month between the Brisbane Bears' Brad Hardy and Footscray's Darren Collins. Both tried valiantly to put boot to ball. Richmond President Neville Crowe had a most unusual way of ordering a drink. I'll have 2 beers, thank you. Yes, just 2 beers. Oh, golly, you want proof of identification? Well, how about this? August also saw some great aerial work, and this mark by Stephen Stretch was no exception. And as this little boy will tell you, not everybody likes the Ruckle family. The big question here is, was it a goal? Well, 6 goal umpires can't be wrong. But hang on, fellas, this is taking things just a little bit too far. To the bump of the month, and Carlton's Steve Kernahan and North Melbourne's Paul Spargo really did lay each other to rest. The I Feel No Pain award goes to Jamie Dersman. And you know something, Jamie? That was a wet, heavy ball. To the goal of the month, and Geelong's Paul Couch gathers the ball off the pack and from 50 metres out kicks long into the goal square. The ball bounces awkwardly and then suddenly leg breaks through for a goal. And to finish, a little food for thought from Richmond coach Kevin Bartlett. Perhaps he's looking ahead to 1989. We begin the plays of the Panasonic Cup with the Eagles' Peter Sumich passing the ball to Hawthorn's Peter Schwab. Glenn Hawker obviously hadn't finished talking to Gary Ablett and he just refused to let him go. Rodney Grinter was the recipient of the most painful tackle of the Cup, and boy, was he in pain. Here's top comedian Simon Madden attempting to score a goal with his hand. Yes, it's good. Oh, no, you can't use your hand. Oh, well, pretty close, wasn't it, Humpy? Brother Justin obviously found it amusing. Now, what was the name of that song? Ah, yes, I Just Want to Be Your Friend. The Geelong mascot missed the easiest goal of the series. I guess that's why he's the mascot. However, Dwayne Russell soon made amends with this miraculous major from a near impossible angle. Hey, Dad, did you see that goal? Did you see it, huh? The award for the best imitation of having just one too many on a Saturday night went to Alistair Clarkson. And the happiest fans of the Panasonic Cup were these two supporters after the Eagles had beaten the Hawks by a point. It was Melbourne's Alan Johnson who scored the most unusual behind of the series. Seven's Dixie Marshall spent considerable time on the boundary line, and she didn't go unnoticed. Even Toddy thought it was laughable. The best mark of the Panasonic Cup was taken by Melbourne's Rod Grinter. And now back to our mascot friend. Well, he finally got it right, and was he wrapped because he made it into the plays of the Panasonic Cup. Calling Tony Androbus. Tony, could we please begin the plays of the month with the most helpful spectator of April? Hey Rod, if you want the ball, then why not go and get it yourself? West Coast Eagles' Guy McKenna decided that he would rather pass his boot instead of the ball to Troy Ugle. Now, which one of these is lost? Excuse me, Constable, but I think that your horse is over there. Richmond's Michael Mitchell displayed his unique, if not unusual, football talents in April, firstly with this excellent soccer header, and then by executing this extraordinary rugby flick pass. Potato farmer Danny Frawley spent most of the month demonstrating just how he plants his crops, while Melbourne's Brian Wilson once again demonstrated his remarkable acting talents. The most forgettable kick-out of the month belonged to John Manton. Oh, John, this error resulted in a free kick and a goal to Hawthorn's Jason Dunstall. April produced some great aerial work, as proved by St Kilda wizard Nicky Winmar. Hawk spearhead Jason Dunstall also pulled down a big grab, as did Tiger big man David Honeybun at the MCG. However, great marks weren't just taken by the players. Check out this chest mark taken at the Wacker by this spectator. Now that's how you do it, Shane. Not to be outdone, even the field umpire at the SCG got into the act. But Coach Cole Kinnear was not impressed and was quick to put the man in white in his place. Tiger Dale Waitman was on the wrong end of this shirt front, courtesy of Merv Neagle. While over at Fitzroy, they still haven't learnt who the opposition is. To the goal of the month, and Richmond's Peter Wilson receives the hand pass from Justin Pickering on centre wing and then takes 1, 2, 3... 4 bounces, crosses the 50-metre line and kicks a great team-lifting goal. And finally, we turn to the most unusual incident of April. It happened at Windy Hill when the field umpire was accidentally felled while trying to stop a melee. You know, it's amazing what some people will do just to make the plays of the month. Don't you agree, sir? Sir? So here we go, and sir, I know that you've waited a long time for the plays of the month. Here they are, but please try and contain your excitement. The best, or should it be worst, fumble of the month belongs to Hawthorn's Chris Whitman, who while running in to mark a Gary Buckenara pass, fumbles and misses out on a certain goal. Now come on, Dermot, it's not that funny. The best disappearing act of May belongs to North Melbourne magician Jeff Chandler, with just a little bit of help from St Kilda's Rod Owen. Coming in a close second to Chandler was Geelong's Tim Darcy. The most surprised man during the month of May was Collingwood veteran David Cloke, who just couldn't believe his luck when the ball fell into his arms. As David said, you've just got to know how to read the play. Peter Wilson seemed to have trouble with his birds. No, Peter, Carl Langdon is an eagle, not a rooster. The month of May saw some great goals kicked. North's Derek Kickett managed to send one through from 75 metres, while Hawks' Chris Whitman was obviously impressed with the FA Cup final by soccering this one from 35. While the most unusual goal was scored by Bomber comedian Simon Madden, who adopted the theory, if at first you don't succeed, try again. Well done, Simon. But Madden wasn't the only one doing it on all fours. To the second best shirt front of the month, and the Diesel steamrolls the Big Dipper. And this is the best shirt front of May. And Eagle Jeff Miles lays Tiger Michael Pickering out to rest. Simon Eichhold exposed a certain weakness in David Murphy's game. To the mark of May, and Demon Stephen Stretch managed to drag in this screamer at the MCG. And look who's back. The Swan Tits doing their thing at the SCG. Dare I say it? Bigger and better than ever? No, I didn't say that. Oh golly, it's enough to make you fall down and cry. Or is our Melbourne friend splitting his sides with laughter? So here we go. Look, I'm sorry, Simon, if you think it's all a bit boring, but some people have been eagerly awaiting the plays of June for a long time. The most hesitant person of June was this field umpire who just couldn't decide when to bounce, if indeed bounce, the ball. And what about this goal umpire who inadvertently awarded a goal to Carlton after the Eagles' David Hart clearly kicked the ball through? However, after discussions with Hart and the field umpire, he corrected his decision and awarded Carlton a behind. The best fresh air shot of June was executed by Tiger Trevor Poole, who just couldn't put boot to ball. To the second best mark of June, and Demon tough man Rod Grinter flies high over North Melbourne's Wayne Schwass. But the best mark of June was taken by Sydney's David Murphy at the SCG. And while Murphy was brilliant in the air, he was just as brilliant on the ground. Now, it's not exactly mud in your eye, but, Alan Izard, it's not far from it. But Mark Yates could still smile. Soccer became fashionable in June, as proved by Hawk Jamie Morrissey and the Bears' star goalkeeper Matthew Campbell. The unluckiest player of the month was St Kilda veteran Trevor Barker, who copped a mouthful, courtesy of John Georgiadis. And on the subject of boot in mouth, Justin Madden just missed out. The shirt front of June was narrowly avoided by John Platten as he applied the brakes just in time and watched as two bears collided. To the goal of the month, and the brilliant Gary Ablett tries hard to mark. The ball hits the ground, however, and Ablett bustles his way through the pack, gathers the ball, steadies and shoots from inside 50 metres. As I said at the time, what more can you say? And finally, to the most bizarre incident of June. Watch Richmond President Neville Crowe dressed in the beige overcoat. Yes, they're a very close bunch at Tigerland. As I said before, what more can you say? So let's begin with the Madden brothers, as Justin gives Simon an armchair ride. Melbourne's Brian Wilson proved once again just how versatile he can be with this award-winning acting performance. While teammate Steve O'Dwyer's new method of contesting ruck duels still leaves a little to be desired. To the best tackle of July, and Geelong Terrier Andrew Buse grabs Lion Graham Osborne in a bear-like hug that would do Hulk Hogan proud. Not to mention this Rick Kennedy coat hanger, perfectly executed on Magpie Craig Kelly. Hawthorn's Peter Schwab obviously didn't take too kindly to the treatment he received from Tiger Tony Free. And spare a thought for this Sydney trainer, because he just couldn't outrun the bouncing ball. Somehow I get the feeling that David Murphy was just a little frustrated. To the freakish goal of July, and St Kilda's Mick Dwyer gathers the ball deep in the forward line and under enormous pressure from North's Alistair Clarkson, kicks from right on the boundary line and scores a near impossible goal. And then there was the saga of Long and his shorts. July saw the VFL once again experiment with the controversial three-goal umpire system. Carlton's Steve DeRuy was the tough man of July, firstly by shirt-fronting bomber Terry Danaher, and secondly by laying Demon skipper Greg Healy out to rest. To the high flyers of July, and Jeff Aiken leap for miles proved that he can soar like an eagle. July's second best mark was taken by Geelong high flyer Bruce Lidner over a hapless Graham Osborne. But the best mark of July was taken by Fitzroy champion Alistair Lynch, who soared high over the pack at the MCG. St Kilda wizard Nicky Winmar was the most considerate player of July. Here he offers veteran Simon Madden a chance to rest his ageing legs. But I don't need to rest, says Simon. However, Winmar was determined to offer Madden a seat on the ground. But as usual, the bomber comedian has the last laugh, this time by kissing the wizard smack on the lips. Simon, I wonder what Mary'd think of that. And on the subject of kissing, Murray Romance Rants and Dermot Brereton obviously have more in common than just sharing the same Guernsey number. I wonder if Adrian Barrich is jealous. Ah, what a month it was. Let's begin the plays of August with a little game of hide and seek. So what we'll do is toss the coin and then we'll all try and find where it landed. As Tim Watson was saying, come out, wherever you are. The second best collision of August occurred between St Kilda duo Peter McConville and Trevor Barker. But undoubtedly the best collision of the month took place when Demon Sean White laid out teammate Brian Wilson. According to bomber Michael Long, the best way out of this tangle of Footscray players is simply to use your head. While Chris Mew thought that Jim Stein's head was the ball. The best haymaker of August was executed by Rod Grinter on St Gordon Fode. Grinter was soon in the action again, this time by narrowly ducking under a Stuart Lowe hip and shoulder. The Demon fell to the ground but bounced up as soon as he was awarded a free kick. All in all, not a bad performance. The Good Samaritan of August was umpire John Russo for giving cat Gary Hocking a helping hand. The freakish goal of the month was kicked by Graham Yates. The ball just seemed to roll and eventually it just managed to sneak over the line. How easy, says Graham. Andrew Buse came close to kicking a goal, but try as he could, just failed to find the big sticks. No wonder he collapsed behind the goal line, and I hope Percy Jones doesn't laugh at that. The best mark of August was taken by Geelong newcomer Adrian Fletcher over Eagle Steve Malaxos. David Rhys-Jones has copped some hard knocks in his time. This time, though, there was no retaliation. And let's leave you with something to ponder. The things people do when there's a camera around. OK, footy fans, the long, hot summer is behind us and we're down to action in the Foster's Cup. The highs, the lows, the anguish, the frustration, and the aggro, all a part of the 1990 Foster's Cup. But do we need to see yet another Brian Wilson acting performance? No, sorry Willow. Let's stop and we'll fast forward the tape until we get to the best bump of the Foster's Cup, involving Essendon's Andrew Manning and the Lions' Ross Lyon. Richmond, as we know this year, have adopted a youth policy, and what's that old saying? You've got to learn to crawl before you can walk. But come on, Tigers, let's work it out. Just who is the opposition here? Oh, don't look so down, dear. They're young and they're learning. To some of the marks of the Foster's Cup, and firstly, Earl Spalding rose high over the pack to take this screamer. But not to be outdone, North's Wayne Schwass said thanks to teammate Ben Buckley for the ride. And you know it's a fair mark if you can make Kanga smile. The Boris Spassky Award goes to new Bulldog coach Terry Wheeler, but I wonder why he had to consult Eagle Peter Sumich. Oh well, Terry, keep working on it. The two delicacies of the Foster's Cup were lion sandwiches, prepared by the Hungry Bombers, and everybody's favourite, mag pie, courtesy of the Blues. To the goal of the series, and North's Steve Hamilton handballs to Peter German at half-back. It was at a critical stage in the third quarter, with North looking to open up a handy lead. German, like a tank, stormed through the centre of the ground and after 5 bounces shoots from the 50-metre line and kicks a truly great team-lifting goal for the Roos. But not so great was his accidental kicking to the head of gutsy Eagle small man Don Pike. And so the 1990 season is underway. It's all back with us again. The wild, the crazy and the bizarre. Have a great year in footy. So let's start with something completely different. Bungee jumping at Carrara. Let's all hope the Bears can bounce back like these brave souls have. Did I say brave? Silly me, perhaps I meant crazy. The recipient of the best shirt front of April was new cat Trevor Poole. Compliments of Anthony Danaher. While over at Tigerland, they're more than happy just to knock each other out. Poor old Carlton hasn't had a good year, and now Jez's 3/4 time address has been cut because he can't get out onto the ground. Well, he can, eventually. One of the best tackles of April was laid on Footscray's Tony McGuinness by St Kilda speedster Dean Rice. And who said it was only the players who put their life on the line? But hang on, Darren Davies, they're your boys. And now 2 of the best marks of April. Magpie Doug Barwick comes from nowhere to take this ripper. And if that was a good one-hander, what about this one from Tiger Michael Mitchell? And on the subject of Michael Mitchell, who was the commentator who drew Mitchell's name out of the pre-game dinner sweep to score the first goal of the match?
Will it go through? You ripper! It's a goal! First blood to the Tigers!
Golly, Peter Landy sure was happy. And on the subject of 7 sports reporters, is it any wonder why our own Michael Roberts retired from football? Good one, Reggie. To some of the misses of April, and Demon Brett Lovett missed the ball. Saint Nathan Burke missed the mark, while Blues John Dorotich tried his best but still missed Michael Gaffer. Luckily for Greg Williams, David Rees-Jones missed him here, or should it be the other way round? Perhaps Rees was lucky. Unfortunately, something that didn't miss was Jimmy Cracker's boot and Scott Russell's head. Jacko showered us with tricks in his time, and now we know Dermy is far more than just a crack centre-half forward. And on the subject of Jacko, I wonder if Fitzroy's Darren Whelan has had a bet with him in recent times. Yes, that's what I call using your head, but then again, so is this, a la Carlton's Mill Hannah. While teammate Simon Minton-Connell was on the wrong end of this Craig Kelly coat hanger. And on the subject of coat hangers, is Tim Watson asking for one here? Or maybe he's just saying, hey, have you seen my latest banana commercial? Well, Tim, I think this supporter has, and he likes it. In the land of goblins, ghosts, and Brisbane bears, watch screaming eagles go down in pairs. A pinch of demon, a fox's tail, a big V lost turned EJ pale. There's many mysteries about to unfold as the plays of May can now be told. Bernard Toohey produced one of the best tackles of May when he hammered Steve Newport into the ground. And if you thought that was a great tackle on the field, then check out the furious tackling that took place off the field when a horde of eager Eagles fans wanted to souvenir the ball. Geelong's David Cameron tried his best to make the morning papers. But hang on, David, you have to be in front of the camera. A month couldn't go by without seeing Dermy in action. But just a moment, Dermy, weren't you once a clothes shop owner? Dermy's teammate James Morrissey gave out the best throw of the month to Robert Dominico, and it went unnoticed. To one of the best attempts at marking for May, and the Saints' Ian Muller almost managed to drag down this ripper. But teammate Nicky Winmar went one step further and one step higher. The Wizard managed to hang on to this beauty. The best mark by a spectator happened at Cardinia Park, when this fan jumped the fence and took this simple chest mark. Nothing to it really, I'll just return the ball and go back to my seat. Speaking of spectators, wasn't it great to see our friends the goal umpires at the SCG once again? And not to mention the State of Origin Swan Tits, one of the best bumps of May occurred between Magpie Darren Mullane and Bomber Michael Werner, but somehow I think Mullane was the victor here. And don't worry, Alan, yes, we're going all right for time. And now one of the goals of May as Spiro Corcomilla supplies pressure to Paul Vanderhaar, and the ball spills free. Spiro picks it up and breaks one tackle. He then spins around Vanderhaar and from 30 metres out, curls the ball around the post to score a great goal. The I Didn't Appreciate the Boot in the Back award this month goes to Hawthorn's Peter Schwab, courtesy of Carlton's Mark Majuzak. And now back to all that hocus pocus. Did the Invisible Man put Justin Madden down? Oh, come on, Justin, even Norm Dare's not impressed with that. Or perhaps it was Mark Zanotti Norm who didn't impress you. Oh, what a month it's been. Football one day, church the next. There's only one thing better than dancing up a storm at Carrara or eating a meat pie on a cold winter's day, and that's watching the plays of the month, where you see only the best. But the best in this case wasn't quite good enough. Pity the poor ground staff who tried valiantly to chase down this tearaway terrier. I wonder if he was trying to hit the post. June was a month of milestones, with Tiger David Cloke notching up his 300th game, even if he had to struggle to get through the banner. For some it was just too much. Oh, don't worry dear, football can get quite emotional at times. To the goal that got away and Tiger David Honeybun managed to put boot to ball, but the goal umpire signalled that it was touched off the boot. Wrong, and much to the dismay of David Honeybun. While Robert Dominico tackled ex-teammate Terry Wallace in a rather friendly way. Gives new meaning to the phrase ripper dipper. However, the best tackle occurred off the field when a groundsman brought a would-be goal umpire's career to a very abrupt end. And then there was the story of the goal umpire who was continually bombarded by a group of peanut-throwing Blues supporters. Hey, but look out, fellas, here comes the boys in blue, and they're out to cashew. Oh, golly, who wrote this? June was a month for high flyers, and again, St Kilda's Nicky Winmar thrilled us with this beauty. While during the WA Victoria State of Origin clash, Gary Ablett managed to pull down this screamer. And why not finish it off with a handstand? Beautiful, Gary. And no prizes for guessing who was the happiest man in Victoria after the Big V's win.
Stuck it right up them. That's what you did. You stuck it right up them.
If it's promising footballers the West Australians need, then perhaps the Sandgropers could look in their own backyard for recruits. Footscray pair Chris Grant and Tony Liberatore looked a tad embarrassed as they tried to untangle themselves. Maybe they were just practising for the end of the season three-legged race. Sydney's Bernard Toohey and Essendon's Paul Salmon provided one of the best bumps of June, with a big fish coming off a little worse for wear. Anyone seen my legs? While in the commentary box there was no one happier than former Carlton champ Ian Robertson when the Blues made their comeback charge against Geelong.
The left foot shot by Stephen Silvani! Woohoo!
And on the subject of commentators, here's Dennis Cometti beating the fans away with a stick. Oh, only joking, Dennis, but we couldn't leave you out of the plays of the month of June, could we?
What a week, you might say, for those dudes on tubes. By drag racer Johnny.
Now hang on, Mike, you've got your show. This is mine. And what better way to start than with a classic contest between man and beast? Who did win that confrontation anyway? Hey, all power to the supporter. Apparently the Eagles' Craig Turley loves a chat. And this is something Bulldog Steve Kolyanouk picked up very early on in their last meeting. Sharing is a wonderful thing, particularly between opposing players. Hey Danny, like a drink? No thanks Justin, and cop this. Sydney recently played host to Collingwood at the SCG and didn't really like it. Mind you, neither did the umpire. And what's the Moose saying? Dare we speculate? Mind you, the umpire wasn't the only one getting in the way. As Craig Kelly says, hey, look out, Darren, here I come. And here's a first. Siamese Blues joined at the Beanie. To the mark of July, and it was hard to go past West Coast Eagles dynamo Troy Ugle. Yes, that certainly was something to blow your bugle about. We're going to have to do something about this, scriptwriter. The best mark taken by a boundary line radio commentator occurred in Perth, but how many grabs does it take before they pay the mark? Got it at last. And the crowd was rapt. Yes, I'll pay that fine mark. Tackling has become an art form. And if you dispute this point, just ask Bernard Toohey, or maybe Mil Hanna. After all, he didn't even have the ball. Oh, to be enthusiastic. On the subject of enthusiasm, I think one Collingwood supporter went a fraction too far. The goal of the month will long be remembered by Bulldog fans. Coach Terry Wheeler asked youngster Steve Kolyanouk for something special, and he didn't let him down.
Kolyanouk. Will he take right on? Yes, he does. I thought he would. One bounce. Another bounce. Left foot. Look at this. A marvellous kick. He's put them in front. That's as good as you'll ever see.
Strange things often occur during a football match, but whose mother didn't spend quite enough time behind the sewing machine on a Friday night? Really? It's hardly family viewing.
Oh, Daddy, I don't believe this. I thought we came to see a football match. Oh, well, at least I should make the plays of the month.
And what culinary delights do we have this month? Well, August sparked off the great pie debate.
More 420s, Maestro. Going right up.
There was Dipper's Delights versus Plugger's Pastries.
Get me a Gillies pie anytime.
But hang on, guys, there's no need for that. Don't tell me you're fighting over a pie. And on the subject of pies, Lee Matthews didn't want to enter into the fray. He was more than happy munching on a biscuit. And I think all this pie supporter wanted was to be on the plays of the month of August. Well, don't worry, son, you're on. On to the serious stuff, and Darren Mullane produced the bump of the month when he made mincemeat out of Hawthorn's Chris Whitman. Clubs nowadays like to impose media bans on their players, but surely this is taking things a little bit too far. While Carlton's Dominic Thotier may have to join Actors Equity after this sterling performance. One of the most courageous marks of the month was taken by Fitzroy's Terry Board. And on the subject of courage, well, is it courage or is it just being in the wrong place at the wrong time? We'd better ask Richmond's Richard Nixon. If the month of August was meant to belong to one player, then surely it must be Hawthorn's skipper, Michael Tuck. Now come on, we mean the real Michael Tuck. The best impersonation of an American gridiron quarterback goes to West Coast Eagle Dwayne Lamb, and that was a beauty. Still in the West, and the Eagles gave us a rather interesting banner. It seems as though commentator Don Scott isn't exactly the flavour of the month. West Coast whingers, we are not. Do the world a favour, get rid of Don Scott. I'm sorry, Don, but their wish is my command. Hang on a sec. The Don Scott Fan Club? No, sir, you're not seeing things. It really is the Don Scott Fan Club. Enough of that, let's get down to the action. Here's Bears captain Roger Merritt, who executed the perfect throw, and it resulted in a goal to Cameron O'Brien. The Foster's Cup introduced us to the Adelaide Crows for the first time. However, I wonder when Bruce Lindsay and Scott Lee first met. Right now, I would say. Also, from the state of the Czech side comes a new variation of the short pass, as demonstrated by Tony McGuinness. Although this one found the man, I don't think it'll catch on. But stranger things have happened in football, like the Don Scott fan club. To the bump of the Foster's Cup, and Tiger Trent Nichols was flattened by Demon Simon Eichhold. But somehow I think that Gary Lyon may have just over-exaggerated this clash with Andy Goodwin. The award for the best shepherd of the Foster's Cup goes to this field umpire for stopping Hawk Chris Whitman from receiving a Dermot Brereton hand pass. Sydney and North Melbourne played their match at the Canberra Raiders home ground, and Wayne Schwass scored the best try of the series. Now, what's the saying? Old footballers never die. Funny, I thought these two went out to pasture just a couple of years ago. Well, I wonder how long it'll be before they have their own fan club. To the marks of the Foster's Cup, and Man Mountain's Stuart Lowe came from nowhere to take this courageous grab, while Tiger recruit Terry Keys flew high over the pack to capture this beauty. And as we watch Dermot leapfrog Tony Hall and look at the umpire in the sun visor, we're left with a few things to ponder. Just who is this masked man? Oh no, not again. And this one, well, exactly. We start the plays of the month with good news and bad for the Hawks. Congratulations to the boys from Glenferrie on winning the Foster's Cup Grand Final. But commiserations to the Hawks because just 6 days later, they ended up on the dining room menu at Football Park. Yes, get some Hawk on your fork. And didn't the Adelaide public eat it up when the Crows destroyed the Hawks by 86 points? And not even their favourite son, new Hawk Darren Jarman, escaped the fans' wrath.
At the back, Jarman. He can kick another one here. He can walk into goal. And he hits the post!
Oh dear. And that made happy.
As if that hasn't made the supporters happy.
The Adelaide crowd also showed their affection for Dermy.
The kick towards half forward, Brereton marks, and the boos are apparent at Football Park.
To one of the bumps of March, and St Kilda's David Grant and Richmond's Brian Lees clashed heavily in round one. Remember during the Foster's Cup, Robbo was reliving his playing days? Sad, isn't it, that a grown man still has trouble dressing himself? I wonder if there's an opening there for Bruce, perhaps in the Myers men's section. It's hard to believe, I know, but some people just never learn. See what I mean? One of the best marks of March was taken by St Kilda's Dean Rice. Justin Madden is known as one of the game's great jokers. Somehow I don't think Justin was joking here. And so as we sit back to enjoy another football season, there's only one thing left to say. White tea with 1 sugar, thanks. The Plays of the Month cameras follow the AFL circus Australia-wide in the pursuit of the offbeat and the bizarre. Like this April Fool from the Apple Isle, who not only made the Plays of the Month, but also started a whole new aerobics craze. Now come on girls, get in step. A Plays of the Month exclusive was the big fight between the Brisbane Little League and Rocky Balboa. To the second best coat hanger of April, and the big fish, Paul Salmon, was caught hook, line and sinker by the Essendon Banner. Not to be outdone, the Melbourne Banner knocked Darren Bennett right off his feet. Unfortunately, both cheer squads received 4 weeks. Footscray's Doug Hawkins received the luckiest free kick of April. Now watch the hawk very closely. Not so lucky was this dog, who couldn't remember where his bone was buried. No, gentlemen, it's not the New Zealand sheepdog trials. Talk about canine capers. One of the bumps of April was between North pair Darren Crocker and John McCarthy and the fence at the Wacker. Somehow I think the players came off worse for wear. McCarthy was soon in the action again, with this being one of the misses of the month. And pity poor Matthew Francis. Number 13, lucky for some, but unlucky for others. No, Richard Champion, I think your mouth's down a little lower. To the marks of April, and Demon rookie Darren Cuthbertson shows he has a bright future taking this beauty. While new Bulldog Phil Cracker dragged down this great one-hander at Football Park. Billy Brownless hovered high over Andrew Lockyer to bring in this mark just centimetres off the ground. And who could forget Warwick Kappa's effort over the hapless Michael Martin? Or his great attempt at trying to con a 50-metre penalty from the umpire. Ray Jenke wasn't too impressed by it all, but then again his teammate Gary Ayres tried to do the same thing with Tony Liberatore. And wasn't it different to see Brian Wilson playing the straight man to Tony Shaw? Tony, that was some performance. Evander Holyfield, eat your heart out. So, with the month of April behind us for another year and the football season in full swing, perhaps we should finish the Plays of the Month with a salute to a special group of supporters. Now, what's the old saying? The lifts are on, but I don't think they reach the top floor.
Hey, wait a minute, Sandy. We haven't finished yet. For years now, you've always given me a hard time. Well, now it's my turn to have some fun at your expense. Remember this?
Bairstow from 50 metres, set sail for home, a good-looking kick, and that looks like another one for Geelong. Yes, another behind.
Haha, revenge can be so sweet, can't it, Willow?
Now hurry up, KB. We're just about ready to start the Plays of the month of May. In fact, I'll give you 5 seconds to get yourself seated in front of a television. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well, the month of May produced one of the most disgraceful incidents seen on a football field for many a year. The Collingwood mascot terrified this poor, sweet, defenceless, innocent little girl. Magpie, you've got a lot to answer for. And so does another. Yes, the saviour of country football lobbed at Euroa. For a one-game comeback, it was Mark Jackson. In fact, it was like the Jacko show of old. He booted 2 goals for the day, and didn't he love the attention he showered upon himself? And of course, Jacko is never short of a word.
Sucking the fresh country air wind right down the back of the nostrils, and I feel really good, Sandy.
Did anyone understand a word of that? Jacko wasn't the only one making a comeback. Crows coach Graham Corns also decided to give it one more try, although he could only manage a game against the local under-15 team. Somehow, Cornsey, I think, would be better off instructing the finer points of disposal, because this attempt at a flick pass fooled absolutely no one. Now a question for the Carlton cheer squad. Is that supposed to be Bart Simpson on your banner, or his lookalike from the West Coast, Carl Langdon? Confusion reigned supreme in the Sydney-Geelong match, with the Moose, Wayne Henwood, tackling his own teammate in Barry Mitchell. And the goal umpire in that game also had a problem. Oh, what the heck, it looked like a point. Hang on, I just better get the all clear. Yes, thank you. Well, I did tell you it was a point in the first place. And on the subject of goal umpires, let me tell you, Alistair Lynch is a big rap for them after this incident. To the marks of May, and bomber big man Peter Somerville flew high over Eagles Dean Irving and Ryan Turnbull to hold this grab, while his tiny teammate Gavin Wanganeen thrilled the crowd at Moorabbin by getting the ride of his life and capturing this beauty. In one of the clashes of the month, feathers were ruffled when Hawk Matthew Robran and Magpie Doug Barwick collided at VFL Park. And here's something unusual in football. Ted Whitten discarding a microphone.
Sisters, race up. Where's Billy Dog and the Cape? Billy, you talk to the people. Get Billy.
Teddy had more important things to do, of course, like leading the victory song at Football Park. On you, EJ. And of course, all that action coming your way on 7 Sport. Yeah, come in. Plays of the month. Yes, come on, we'll do them now.
I hear you knocking, but you can't come in. So I moseyed on down to the Moorabbin room, Sandy. I was knocking on heaven's door.
Jared, in the words of Don Scott, you're unbelievable. And what about the spectators' reaction? You know the old saying, Jared, don't give up your day job. Mind you, strange things do happen in football. What about when Kevin Sheedy resorted to sending smoke signals to his players at Windy Hill? And talk about modern day football, some coaches don't even mind if their taggers take to the field in their street clothes. Not that this young couple would have noticed what was going on out on the ground anyway. Which is a shame they didn't, because they would have witnessed Brett Allison flying high over Gavin Krosiska to take one of the all-time grabs. And what about this little conversation in Perth? What's that I've kicked now, Michael? I think it's 13. Gee, it's going to be a long trip back to Melbourne, Peter. Yes, I hope you're not the in-flight comedian. Darren Baxter had his problems during the last month. Now, first of all, we'll have to move that chair. Oh, golly, I think I've hit the umbrella too. While Carlton's Luke O'Sullivan was a little less tactful towards this stills photographer. Supporter of the month goes to this gentleman at the SCG. We don't know who it is you're barracking for, sir, but we admire your enthusiasm and your kicking style. To the surprise goal of June, and Peter Foster kicking from 50 metres clearly misses to the left. Don't look too depressed, Pete. The goal umpire thinks it's a goal. and Anthony Danaher cannot believe it. Ah yes, an umpire's life isn't easy. A ball up. Oh well, on second thoughts, maybe a throw-in would be better. As Brett Stevens asks, is that out on the full? Now remember folks, you cannot run through a point post unless, of course, you're Neil Cordy. The Collingwood Cheer Squad were the innovators of June with their automatic self-collapsing banner. It saves the players just a little bit of energy. It's no secret the Eagles are doing well this year. I wonder if they'll paint the town and not their faces come September. Winter finally arrived in Melbourne, much to the disgust of Tony Liberatore. Hey guys, where are you? Poor old Libber. What a month. I've heard of smacking the bottom, but hang on, Tony, you're a Brownlow medalist. And finally, a message to all the mothers who follow our game. With winter well upon us, let's rug up. Dress your little ones accordingly, as it does get very cold at the football. Obviously, Mrs. Cometti has taken note and dressed her son accordingly. And look who wants the last word. Unbelievable.
What was that all about? Just a little short one.
Oh! And Schultz tried to pull the towel away.
All right, the Swans gathering for the last quarter. Kappa gathering his gear. Thank you very much. Spalding. He goes for the bounce.
West Coast charging away as goal umpire Barrage gives the all clear.
Well, close to the boundary line. A couple of those Collingwood players certainly went hard at the ball.
Ralph Smith back with the flight back into his teammate Harvey.
Kicks it into that far side. Oh, what a mark! Dale Lewis. Another opportunity. Simpson's long kick. Kick it! Oh, what a mark!
Actually, I was wondering when I was going to get a look in. Now I know how the Crows' hierarchy felt at VFL Park. Mind you, I don't think I would have done that to the coach's box window. Yes, James, what you're holding is called a football. And the idea is to kick it. Oh, James, I said kick it. Perhaps, James, you could take a lesson from Sydney's Jason Love, because after all, he kicked one of July's great goals. Last month saw Carlton coach David Parkin embark on his new youth policy, obviously with the year 2000 in mind. Could this be the league's first 700 gamer? And the Cardinia Park Cat has been hard at it in recent weeks. Admittedly, he did cop a left jab down at Moorabbin, but what about the backhand reply? No, my friend, you are guilty and must be punished. I wonder if we'll be seeing you next month. Why not begin where we ended July, with the Geelong mascot? It seems that our furry friend was playing havoc with the security guards at the Wacker. With an ego the size of his, I'm not surprised the hat didn't fit. And something else that didn't fit were the numerous goal umpires at Football Park. They just couldn't find enough space behind the big sticks. Who'd want to be a goal umpire anyway, especially when they have to suffer this kind of punishment? But like a true professional, he gets straight back up, gathers his hat and signals are behind. See, Nigel? Nothing to it. Just the perfect procedure for all the young work experience goal umpires to follow. One of the great goals of August was kicked by Alan Pele Jakovic. I wonder if we could call that a GOAT. Goal of all time. One wonders whether Fitzroy forward Darren Wheeldon was trying to emulate the feat of Jakovic. Somehow I think frustration has a lot to do with this one. Still, Bernard Toohey found it quite funny. While in the same match, the field umpire had problems controlling the ball at the centre bounce. To the bump of August, and Peter Sumich came off second best in this clash with Steve Lawrence and the Subiaco surface. On the subject of surfaces, Carrara also came in for criticism, well, at least from one cheerleader. The most unwelcome visitor of August was this gent who decided to give Mark Zanotti an earful. However, his stay on the field, fortunately, was short-lived. One of the great missed opportunities of this month occurred when Mark Bairstow failed to score from point-blank range. And the Blues won a thriller by 2 points. However, the Blues failed by 4 points against Essendon when in the dying seconds of the game, David Glasgott's short pass from forward pocket to Craig Bradley was intercepted by Peter Kransberg. Oh, well, Craig, at least you found some consolation in the arms of the umpire. However, we won't be able to change the result. Yes, sir, we all saw that. But have you seen this? Footscray captain Doug Hawkins captured this great one-hander, and didn't the Hawk let everyone know about it? One of the more unusual events of August was the marriage of Bruce Jarvis and Linda Munsey at half-time at the SCG. Congratulations to both Bruce and Linda, and who knows, perhaps one day there'll be a few little Jarvises running round for Sydney. And finally, due to public pressure, thanks to the support drummed up by Footscray's Justin Charles and coach Terry Wheeler, we've decided to finish with an item we weren't going to include. Righto, Dennis, it's all yours.
How did you go in our Stars of the Past competition? Better than that, I hope.
You're spot on, Den. With that, you could just about make it into Plays of the Year. Yes, it's time for the Plays of 1993. So was the pointing of the bone responsible for a season of mayhem? Well, let's see what this budding middle-aged cameraman has for us this year.
Oh, there's a pig on the ground. There is a pig at full forward. That looks like a large white landrace cross.
You're an expert in the field. It's a good thing you're here.
To an expert in another field, the former King of Pop, now King of Boot in Mouth, Peter McKenna.
I'll make a comment here. He's the best kick of a football in AFL. Now, you watch this. Oh! I will never, ever wrap another bloke up.
I wonder if Pete also put the moz on John Dorothy. Poor old Dorrit, who after booting the ball a massive 2 metres, tried valiantly to make amends, only to be pinged for throwing the ball. And if Dora should hang his head, then so too should the Essendon cheer squad for misspelling the name of their beloved Bombers. Should that be Bombrays?
Oh, this is great. I got the family into their wet weather gear now. I'm just sorting myself out. Hang on, I don't think that's quite right.
Football, like everything, is a learning game. And you must never assume. Just ask me.
Back to Lockett from Greg. Runs into trouble, does the big man. Oh, he's kicked a ripper! Into the post.
Ripper into the post.
To one of the more unusual incidents of 93, and Tony McGuinness surprised everyone by steamrolling his own trainer. Had it have been the Richmond trainer, Tone, you may very well have got life.
He's just drifting into the right pocket now and dash back towards full forward. That was exciting.
Someone else who was exciting to watch was Bernie, as he rode the fastest bathtub in the West. Well, not quite, Ern.
This is unbelievable. How come they got theirs right? I'm stuffed if I know how it should go.
And then there was Harry. Sideshow Madden delighted spectators wherever he played with his unique brand of vaudeville antics. But somehow, I don't think Damien Monkhorst cares too much for thespians. Now, Harold, with that type of acting, Hollywood beckons. I can see it now. Justinic Park. And now to one of the misses of the year. Here's Jason Daniels, and the accurate one, Don Scott.
Come on, declare it, Scotty.
Goal. Oh, it's out of bounds.
Dear me. There's the lady shaking her head. Oh, my golly. Could be even his mother.
And I wonder whose mother this is. This is really starting to cheese me off. Hang on, maybe if I just make a hood. No. And now to one of the highlights of the year. If ducking, balking, dodging, weaving, twisting and turning make a player, then this young man will be a champion. But hang on, he's gone. Taken out with the second best tackle of the year. Not that Peter McKenna would have noticed. Dear old Pete was too busy ogling at the Brisbane Bearettes.
Look at that cheer squad. There's some good sorts there, Bernie.
Gee, you get glasses.
Oh, yeah, you do glasses, Macca.
To the happiest supporter of the year, and after watching Gary Ablett kicking a ton for the season, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the definition of joy.
Okay, so I've made a hood. That all looks okay, but what about the rest of it? I don't know what to do with it. I may as well just chuck it out. Tell you one thing's for sure. This is the last time I'm coming to the footy without an umbrella.
But somehow I don't think even a brolly would have been able to withstand the ferocity of the Arctic Park hailstorm. And now for the best tackle of the year.
Fine tackle. What a magnificent tackle. That's Darren Holmes.
Well, don't worry about your tackles and your pigs. What about me? At last. I think I've done it.
But hang on, where's everyone gone?